Nagging is not bad. Almost every woman nag. Nagging is just a form of correction, especially when you're tired of complaining. Nagging too much is what is bad. Know when to stop. Let's talk about nagging. A lot of men are beginning to complain about nagging. My name is Okoro Blessing in Kiruka, popularly known as Blessing CEO, your number one certified relationship therapist in Africa. Nagging. Nagging is a common thing amongst women. What is the meaning of nagging? Nagging is when you raise your voice. Nagging is when you complain. Nagging is when you try to, say something over and over again. So a lot of men are saying, many women are becoming nag, and a lot of men are saying it's a turn off. How can a woman be nagging? I am tired of her nagging. Now let's quickly talk about nagging. Nagging is not bad. It is too much of nagging that is bad. Nagging is a form of correction. A lot of men don't like correction. Yes, when people nag, pay attention. It's like when a dog is barking. Sometimes when a dog is barking and you come out, you might not even see anything, but you know that something is wrong. You might search around, you won't see anybody at the gate, but you know that something is wrong. What do? You start to pay attention to understand why that dog is barking. When a woman is nagging or when a man is nagging, they are complaining about something repeatedly. And the reason why they are still complaining is because you are still repeating that thing. Yes, nag is complain. Now let me explain something to you. Nagging does not start with shouting. Nagging starts with a subtle complaint. Baby, this thing you're doing, I don't like it. Baby, coming back late at night, I don't like it. Okay, you come back again. Baby, but I asked you not to come back late at night now. You come back again. From there, the voice begins to raise from normal to high, from high to high tempo. Baby, you are beginning to come back late in the night. Baby, you are beginning to come back late in the night. It begins to change. She becomes a nag. He becomes a nag. Oftentimes, people nag at you when you refuse to take correction. Instead of us complaining about the nagging, why don't we pay attention to understand what is this person nagging about? Because for us to find solution, we first of all need to understand the problem. We can't keep complaining about nagging when you are doing something that is hurting somebody. And oftentimes, people tend to nag about the things that affect them, especially in a relationship or in a marriage. Oftentimes, you see people nagging and complaining about something. It's because that thing you are doing is affecting them. It is hurting them. It is paining them. It is touching them. So let's not just focus on the nagging. Let's focus on what are you doing that is making this person complain over and over again. And for those of you who nag, you need to know when to stop. Knowing when to stop simply means knowing when to ignore. Yes. When you talk to an adult and they refuse to listen over and over again, it simply means they don't want to change. Yes. The disadvantage about nagging is that anybody that does not want to change will not change. Whether you nag from today to tomorrow. So if your spouses are those people who allow you to keep nagging and nagging, it simply means they don't love you. Because when people nag, they nag with energy. It takes something away from them. Yes, and that's the reason why I said nagging is not bad. It is too much of nagging that is bad. Because when you begin to do it too much, you begin to look like a troublemaker. The person is not daft. The person have heard you. It's now left for the person to change or for the person not to change. So it is a too much of nagging that is bad. But nagging is not bad. It's correction. Yes, we nag at people that we love. Because for you to nag at something, it simply means you paid attention to that thing. Anything you don't pay attention to, you might not even nag at it. Now, people who nag are people who do not have control over their emotions. Yes, people who are very, very spontaneous, people who are very, very flexible. Anything, they might just shout, they might just panic, they might just scream, they might complain. A lot of people have not learned how to compose themselves. A lot of people have not learned how to bottle up, how to, soft pedal, look, keep quiet, observe, ignore before talking. A lot of people do not have subtle way of talking. There are some people that their natural way of talking, they have a high voice. That's the truth. Somebody like me, now, I have a high voice. It's just over time I started bringing it down because people were complaining. Most times when I'm talking, people think I'm shouting. I'm not shouting. Some of us have that natural high authoritative voice, right? So most times when we talk, it comes off as if we are nagging or we are complaining or we are screaming or we are insultive or we are arrogant. So it's not everybody that have learned that part of them. So I'm going to say, if you are in a relationship or you are in a marriage or you are in a friendship, that's why we always say you need to first of all study people around you. Let's try as much as possible not to trigger people, because it's so easy to discuss about people's reaction, not the action. It's so easy to discuss about what they did, not what you did. It's so easy to discuss about the violence, not what caused the violence, not what triggered the violence. There's always a trigger behind the scene. So while we are complaining about the nagging, shouting, we need to pay attention. What are we doing to these people? Are we hurting them? Are they just waking up and shouting? I don't think anybody's going to wake up and start to shout. They are not mad. So let's pay attention, especially when we say we love people, we care about them. Let's listen to them. Let's pay attention to them. Let's communicate. Let's open our ears. Yeah, I think it will help. A lot of times it's going to help. So I'm going to appeal to the beautiful women. I'm going to appeal to you. We could change the format. Nagging is not bad, but too much of nagging is bad. When you nag too much, your man will stop listening to you. Everything you're saying becomes noise to him. That's the disadvantage of nagging too much. When you nag too much on a man, he gets so used to it and begins to see everything you're saying as noise. He begins to see you as a troublemaker. That's the reason why I said nagging too much is bad. When you nag, you need to know when to stop and communicate. A lot of women no longer communicate, they just nag. That's the reason why no matter anything you tell your husband, he doesn't listen. No matter anything you tell your wife, she doesn't listen. Because you are nagging, and nagging becomes noise when you do it too much. So when you nag, you also communicate. Nagging can come off out of anger. That's why I don't just want to throw away nagging. Because if I say don't nag, I will be lying. That's not realistic. That's a myth. People nag, especially when you're upset. Your voice goes higher than the normal. Yes, you begin to go higher than the normal. So nagging is very okay, especially when you're angry, and it can be so annoying when you have to repeat yourself over and over again to a full-grown adult, not even a child. But you need to know when to stop the nag and communicate, because when you nag too much, it becomes noise to the person's ear. The person gets irritated. Why are you screaming? Am I a child? So when you nag, you also sit the person down. Oh, baby, I'm sorry, I actually raised my voice yesterday, but please, this thing you're doing, communicate. And for you to communicate, it simply means you're trying to make the person understand how they are hurting you. That's communication. But when you are nagging, you are shouting, you're complaining, you're not passing a message, you're just screaming at the person. That's why a lot of times people don't take nagging. They get offended when you nag at them. So when you do the nagging, do more of communication so that you can pass your message. Tell the person, baby, you say you love me. If you say you love me, stop doing this thing because it's affecting me. I'm tired of complaining. You keep hurting me. When you communicate this way, I feel if the person loves you, except the person doesn't love you, the person will be able to make adjustment, understanding that, this thing I'm doing is actually hurting my woman or is actually hurting my man. So it's okay to nag, but please don't nag too much. Let's communicate more than we nag. You understand? Communication is overrated in relationship and marriage. Especially in this part of the world called Africa, we underrate communication lots. We just want to shout and scream, and that's the reason why people keep, repeating the same thing over and over again. Even as kids, when you shout and scream at your kids, they will still do that thing again. Yes, until you tell them the disadvantage. Baby, don't go to this fire. When you go to this fire is going to burn your hand. The child might not even go there again, but when you scream, don't go to the fire, they would go there again. So that's about nagging. So I'm going to urge the beautiful women out there to find time to communicate more than nag. Sit your husbands down, sit your wives down and talk to them. It helps better. It actually helps better to communicate. Talk to them in a very soft tone. Than screaming and nagging all the time. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Blessing Okoro Media. And in case if you want to have a private session with us, the number to call is 070-195-11795. You can also send us an email on breakormakeus@gmail.com. We are open to you. We have an office in Lagos. We have an office in Enugu. Call the number 070-195-11795 to make all the inquiries that you need. Remember, when you talk to a therapist, they can be able to give you all those answers to all those questions that you have been looking for. I love you guys and have a wonderful and a very splendid day. Mwah!